Microcasting for your city, Talkapolis.
If you play a stringed instrument, you need to know about Nashville Violins. They sell, rent, repair, and restore all stringed instruments. They have the largest selection of violins in the 9-state area, and they have tutors for professionals and kids. Nashville Violins is the place for strings. Thank you for sponsoring the show.
You're watching Emerging Artists right here on Talkapolis. Today's guest is Chris Burke. Hi everyone, I'm Greta Gaines. Welcome to Emerging Artists. Our guest today is Chris Burke. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now Chris, you come from a very talented family.
I sure do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Chris is my first cousin, and he's a wonderful singer. I've always been very jealous of your voice because it's pretty, it's kind of like perfect, and you can sing anything you want. And I wonder, coming up, watching you sing, you have such an incredible voice, but recently your production and your writing has, I think, caught up to that voice. Wouldn't you say?
I would say so. I appreciate that. And I've always been very jealous of your songwriting and of your voice as well. So you ain't got nothing. I've always been a vocalist. I've always been a singer, and I've been learning production, and I've been learning the way things kind of happen that way, and MIDI and Pro Tools, and I just kind of dove in, and it's really worked out. I mean, the production end has definitely upped recently.
Because for me, there was like this time period where I didn't see you for a while, and all of a sudden you must have locked yourself in a room with some Pro Tools.
Absolutely.
Because you went from barely playing piano, it seemed like, to doing everything. So you have a new single, and it's on iTunes.
I do. It's called Candy Store.
It's called Candy Store. And when you played me the song, I was blown away because you've done everything. You did the vocals, you did the background vocals.
I did.
You wrote the song.
I did.
Did all the production.
I did.
And tell us technically on where you actually produced this.
Well, a few years before that, I did an album that I did completely myself, and I learned sort of the tidbits of production and really the structure of Pro Tools and how things work. And it fit perfectly with my voice into it, and it really it wove together. And so with the song Candy Store, right before that song, I guess, right before I wrote it, I met up with a guy named Michael Dale. And I am straight up smooth pop, soul, classic soul kind of stuff. And he is soul and pop, but he's really edgy as well. And he's got a real rock sound as well. So I learned over like a course of a year and a half how to produce sounds like that, and how to produce something that sounds radio friendly. I don't know exactly how it happened, but it just happened. And because of his influence of sort of rocky edginess and my soul poppy stuff, it's like we've birthed this entire new generation of songs. It's really bananas. I can't really say much else about it. It just sort of happened. And
well, what did you do? Like pick up the manual and literally teach yourself how to run the stuff?
Well, as you said, I used to play the piano a long time ago, and I've always been a singer, and I kind of just sat down in front of the keyboard, and I learned how to do MIDI, which is important, and I just taught myself how to do it. And I taught myself through writing songs, and through not going through classes, or not teaching myself like this is A, this is B, this is C. I actually learned from doing it.
Right.
And I guess that works well for me because that's it. I mean, it was so much fun, and it still is so much fun, and even yet, still, as we're writing, I'm learning more stuff about it and more about the process of it.
Do you think you'll ever go back to working with the producer again, or do you think this is going to be the way you create music from here on out?
I mean, I'm game for anything. This really seems to work. And actually, with Candy Store, Michael and I did most of the production together in my home studio on my computer and my setup and my big old keyboard. But we took our tracks that we had, our Pro Tools session, and we gave it to another guy named Chad Brown that actually added a bunch of extra real instruments on it.
Yeah.
Michael plays the drums as well.
Right.
And there's actually horns on it. There's some keys on it as well. And so he was able to sort of weave in real instrumentation on top of it.
Right. We talk a lot about on this show the big studios in Nashville versus the home studios, and how the complexion of Nashville has changed with the advent of this. So let's say when I came to town in 1994, you know, you really had to hook up with a very seasoned producer. You usually had to sign away most of your songwriting
Life.
to that producer.
Firstborn.
And it was very expensive because if you wanted horns, you hired the best horn guy who came in. Now you guys are able to be, you know, in your extra bedroom, and you could email it over to whoever. He could put the horns on and come back. Or of course, there's all these options.
It's crazy.
Options.
It's crazy. I mean, the amount of stuff that you can do, and the way that what's amazing to me is the way you can manipulate the sound. It's like the keyboard that we have is probably, I don't know, you know, 10 years old, and it was a killer keyboard then, and it's a pretty damn good keyboard now. But any sound that even sounds dated, there are apps, and not apps, it's phone, but there are plugins, and there you know there are all these things that you can add to just tweak the sound a little bit to make it sound brand new, to make it sound like something completely different. And thankfully, I was able to cost efficiently add horns and cost efficiently add keyboards, because I mean it's still not that, you know, I mean. It's that part was more expensive than you know, the home studio stuff.
But if you want to be on pop radio today, top 40 today, you know, your tracks have to sound like $1 million. They have to sound incredible, and that takes, you know, again, it kind of boils down to production. But I was blown away at everything you managed to accomplish in such a short amount of time. I think it is inspiring for people coming to Nashville, and it's educational, because if you come here thinking that you're just a singer or that you're just a songwriter, you might have to wake up one morning and be like, whoa, I got to learn a bunch of other skills, right, Kelsey? Kelsey's first time behind running things right here production-wise.
She's doing a good job, though.
She's doing a great job. I wish she had a camera that we could turn around on her. So you have to be nimble, you have to be able to adapt. And I want our viewers out there to check out the Chris Burke song, the new one. You can buy it on iTunes, right? This song is called Candy Store. Let's check it out.
Taking it slow, go with the flow, where everything goes. Looks like you're cold, would you like to come inside with me?
All that in your home studio?
Pretty much all of it in the home studio, except for, of course, the horns and stuff. One really cool thing about this you know, crop of songs that I've been working on. As I said, I've always been a singer, and I've always I've had a method of singing and a method of writing and a method of production and all that kind of stuff. And Michael, it's just so funny, because he is able to. He's like, I'll sing something, and he'll be like, just tweak it a little bit, just sing it a little bit differently, and it opens up an entire new way of singing and way of everything that I just wouldn't have thought of myself. And it's just sort of an artist development thing. I mean, like the way that I've developed with him and through these songs has been incredible.
Speaking of development, you were on a singing competition show on the Today Show.
I was.
And what was that like, and what do you think of those kinds of shows in general?
Well, this was pre-real, like pre-Voice, pre-X Factor. This was like 2003, I think. And it was unbelievable at the time. It was like I was treated like a superstar. I remember being in the Essex Hotel, like on Central Park, and getting in the elevator, and there were these like 4 ladies in there, and they were all, you know, giggling and stuff. They're like, "You were on the Today Show." It's just, and like I got noticed in Central Park and all this kind of stuff. Like, you know, I mean, it was unbelievable. I got cut from it, and it was just as unbelievable as it was. It was just that hardcore to be cut from. And I remember I had all this makeup on my face, and I was in the back of the limo going to the airport, and I didn't have any place. I was crying, and I didn't have any place to wipe my tears. So I got my sock from my shoe, and I was like I had my leg up, wiping my tears. I know that's what I was doing.
That's beautiful.
It was really
but
sad.
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
It certainly
and through
did.
that experience, you went back home, got your spare bedroom, got the old 10-year-old keyboard out,
Absolutely.
and got to work. And then the new song Candy Store is just great.
Thank you.
My cousin, Chris Burke. Thanks for being on Emerging
Absolutely,
Artists.
thank you.
You guys check him out and keep listening because he's amazing. Microcasting for your city. Talkapolis.